Today's video, we're going to be talking about what should be your very first goal when you walk into the gym. And even if it is your first goal and you've already gotten it, which is your first pull-up, we want to get you from 1 to 3, 3 to 5, and maybe even get you to 10 pull-ups. But before we can get to 10, we got to talk about the very first one. And we see 3 common mistakes in the pull-up in beginners or athletes that are looking to go from 0 to 1 pull-up or 1 to 3. And those 3 things start at the top of that bar. They deal with our shoulders, our elbows, and our neck when we finish. However, in the Imam Aesthetics program, we're here to get strong, lean, and athletic. And we do that in the most efficient and effective ways that we can possibly do it. That's why we love Imam Aesthetics, just for busy people that need some help. And if you want to check it out and you enjoy this video, the link is down in the descriptions. You can use the code Shrugged to save 10%. And we're going to get you that first pull-up. We're going to get you to 3 pull-ups. We know how to do it, and we're going to do it in the most effective and efficient way possible. And the 3 things that we start to see when people jump up on that pull-up bar is they don't know how to organize their body. So before we even get into pulling our body up, our body over the pull-up bar, we need to understand body positioning. And we hear about this thing called the hollow body position, but we don't always know how to get there. So the very first thing we want to think about is how do we lock down or stabilize the lower half of our body. It's going to make us stronger. All the musculature is going to be more connected. We're going to be able to protect our low spine. We also want to think about how do we bring our rib cage down? How do we tighten our abs up so the lower half and the upper half are connected so we don't have all these like movements where our legs are flying around. I know you've seen people kicking their legs and you look at them and you think that's not really pulling up. You're just kicking your legs. So how do we connect the lower half and the upper half to create efficient movement? Well, that is the hollow body position. And what we want to think about when we jump up onto the bar, the very first thing we do is we're going to squeeze our butt. That's going to stabilize our pelvis. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring our rib cage down, and that's going to protect our low spine. From there, I want us to point our toes, and this just goes from core to extremity all the way down, and we're tightening everything up. So when we jump up, the first thing we do, instead of being loose, we're going to squeeze our butt. We're going to bring our ribs down. That's going to bring our shoulders closer to the bar, or our lats down, and we're going to point our toes. Now the finished position we're looking for is here over the bar. Now when we see people going from 0 to 1 pull-ups or 1 to 3 pull-ups in the Imam Aesthetics program, we start to see a couple issues that creep in just because people are unaware or they've never done them before. They've never done multiple reps of pull-ups. So their brain and their body don't always talk perfectly together. That's why we train, that's why we wire our bodies for functional movement patterns. And when we think about the very first thing, once we get that hollow body position dialed in, now we can start to think about how we pull up. And the very first thing I see always with beginners is that instead of pulling from the lats here using these big back muscles, they start to pull here with the elbow. And that elbow pull gets people more, they're typically more comfortable with the elbow just because that's their bicep. They've been flexing their biceps in the mirror forever. But they just don't understand that from here to here is where the majority of the power and strength is going to come from while your body or while your elbow is below a 90-degree angle. So what that looks like when people jump on the bar is they pull here. And you may be strong enough, but even somebody that has a decent amount of pull-ups, when they bend at the elbows, you'll be able to see that breaks because even if the elbows are going forward or out, it looks funky to just be moving in this direction. It doesn't seem like you'd be able to pull all the way down. So the way that we combat that is through a little thing called Scap Pull-Ups. And basically what you want to practice is segmenting the movement so that you're only using your lat and bringing your scap down towards your waist. When you practice these, we're here, hollow body, and you can start to bring those lats down, bringing your scap closer to your waist, and that's going to be practicing initiating the movement. Because we're not doing the full movement, you should be able to get 6 to 8 to 10 reps, 2 to 3 sets of that, and that way you can start to build those big pulling muscles. Say somebody now has the ability to activate their scap, or activate their lats, bringing their scap down close to their waist, but now they get up and you start to see their elbows fly outside. And this gets us to point number 2, that we want to be bringing the elbows in close to the body. We don't want to see them flaring out. This is a really indirect line of motion, and it just leads to really poor movement. So what we look for in that is the hollow body, shoulders come down, lats activated, and then the elbows fly out. We want that line of action where the elbows come in nice and tight to your body. When people do it correctly, you start to see here, and the elbows come down. Tight to your body, keep the elbows in. And then the very last problem that we see all the time is you want the pull-up. You want the pull-up so bad, we know. But what we don't want to see is you sacrificing form and really the health of your neck, the musculature in your spine by lunging your neck forward while you're pulling back as if you can stretch your neck like a crane and all of a sudden you're going to get a pull-up. What we want to do is just build the requisite strength to be able to get your chin over the bar. The problem is that as you start to get stronger, developing poor movement patterns in which you're craning your neck is going to actually hinder the movement as you progress. So you want to be able to get your chest all the way to the bar. Well, as soon as you stick your neck out that far, you've broken that tension, that connectivity in your body in hopes of barely getting your chin over the bar and getting a pull-up. It's great if you do it the first time. What we don't want to do is continue to practice poor movement patterns, and even worse, layering a bunch of strength on top of poor movement patterns that one day we're gonna have to go back and fix anyways. So instead of that crane, I want you to tuck that chin in tight. Now our spine stays nice and neutral. We can jump on the bar. We're in a hollow body. The lats come down, the elbows stay in tight, and the chin comes all the way over. Here and all the way up. Notice we don't crane our neck at the top. Everything stays nice and connected, strong, elbows in tight. We initiate with our lats, and that's how you go from 0 to 1, 1 to 3, or maybe even up to 10 pull-ups. Make sure you get into the description, efficient, effective strength training, hypertrophy training to get strong, lean, and athletic. Imam Aesthetics, use the code Shrugged, and we'll see you guys next week.